Hi guys, welcome back. We're gonna wait for Frank to finish his football before we start.
Need you all night. You're my...
8 hours later.
I thought we could do a really chilled chit-chat video with our green teas. So if you want to make a cup of tea or a green tea if you fancy, make a good coffee. Like, I don't even know where to put my green tea. Oh no, don't do that. It's because you look messy.
I do look scruffy today, I'll be honest.
This is the lockdown edition.
I do look scruffy and I've got a bad shoulder as well. I've tried to work out and, you know, I've done my shoulder. What do?
Don't take
No?
your socks off.
Fair enough.
I don't want to smell cheese. So, question is, first thing that pops into your head, what was the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about when you were 18 years old to now? What was the main thing that you've learnt? Like the biggest lesson? I'm putting you on the spot here.
Mm-hmm. From 18?
From 18, because I think from younger than 18 you haven't like matured yet, so I feel like you're quite the same. But when you hit 18, you start to realise a lot more things. That was for me personally.
No, I disagree. I think from 18, for a lot of people, it's the excitement of you feel like the world's your oyster and you can do whatever you
Yeah,
want.
I know, but you didn't get that when you were like 16, did you?
No, it's exactly when you're 18.
So you
feel like you could do whatever you want because most people are driving, everyone can go clubbing, everyone's out with their friends, you can stay out later.
Driving. You can stay out later.
Yeah, it's just...
So for me, I think 18 years old was different to you because I didn't live with parents.
Mm.
So I didn't have curfews or all that.
Yeah, I never
rubbish.
had any curfews.
No? You didn't?
No.
What time did you have to be home?
Whenever my night ended.
That's pretty good. What was the main thing that you learned?
Not from 18 onwards.
Yeah.
That life is not easy, as you think it's going to be when you're 18. You know when you just leave school and you say, I can't wait to leave school because I can just do what I want and life will be so simple and, you know, school's a load of rubbish.
When you were 16 though?
17, after college. Life is not as easy and simple as you think it's going to be, don't you? Because when you're in school, you're given everything's done for you and you just have to turn up to classes. And then when you actually leave school...
But you started work.
And you've got to live in the big wide world and it's not as simple and straightforward as you think it's going to be when you actually got to earn a living, you've got to graft for your money and... You know, it's completely different to what you think it's going to be. You know, everyone thinks it's going to be rosy-dozy when they leave school.
I feel like because I've only just finished university, I haven't gotten to that point yet. I've learnt life completely differently, so that's why it's quite interesting to know your experience.
Oh yeah, when you leave school and then you get a job and then suddenly you've got to pay your phone bill and then you've got to pay for your car insurance and you've got to pay for petrol.
Did your mum pay for your phone bills and stuff at school?
No, I was paying for my own.
Before you started work?
I don't even think... My phone at school was like pay-as-you-go, so it's like... Probably had nothing even on it, just to make that cool.
For your mum and dad?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a cheap little... Is that a Nokia?
Those brick ones, I had that brick one with little Miss Naughty phone case.
Yeah, but when I got my first job, then you wanted your own phone. You have to pay for it yourself, don't you? Yeah. Obviously. But then when you start realizing, oh my god, when you got your first paycheck, it's like, oh, that's all mine, and you see, right, that's gone because of insurance, that's gone because of petrol.
But when I had my first paycheck, I was putting all of that money towards my food, when you probably didn't. So
yeah, mine went to clubbing, yeah.
Well, there we go. Like a lot
clubbing
of people...
keep my car on the road.
Keep your car on the road. See, I didn't have cars or things like that, so every bit of money that I made just went straight to food or living costs. So when you say, oh, I had that paycheck all to myself, I used to see all of my friends have that too at college.
No, I didn't have it to myself, did I? Because obviously I still had bills to pay for.
No, but so does everybody else.
Everyone thinks when you get your first paycheck whenever you're
No, but majority, if you're still living at home, a lot of people aren't in the same position, but a lot of people who do live at home, a lot of their money just goes on clothes or like going out with their friends.
Mm.
But for me, it wasn't like that because I was already having to pay my own way.
Yeah.
So I think from when I was 18, even though, because I don't have parents and whatever, my life was like that from a very young age.
Yeah, also you probably had different learning and upbringing than me. Well, no, you did.
I think one big thing that I have definitely learned, though, is mental health problems. Social media is such a big problem for younger generation, especially. Like, for us, it wasn't a big thing back then. Like, we're still young, and look what a big problem it is for younger generations now.
Yeah, like if I was still school now, everyone would just be on Twitter, Instagram. And everything's just
I don't remember
judged
Instagram
upon,
that
isn't it?
much at school. Or I think Snapchat was sort of a thing, and WhatsApp was around, but actually Facebook was a big thing.
No, WhatsApp wasn't around when I was in school. It's BlackBerry. It's like
BlackBerry.
BB Pen and all that.
I didn't want.
Yeah.
I'd never got a BlackBerry. Did you?
Yeah, I had one.
You had one. I remember everyone was texting like. Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah,
Those little-
pins, like what's your pin, yeah.
And I was like, I don't have a pin. I have a stupid Nokia still.
It was alright, but no, I never had none of this Instagram. And
But what do you think about social media for the younger generation now?
yeah, it's scary.
Because we didn't really get that, did we?
It's scary. A lot of like, people dying and deaths, and a lot of people self-conscious about the way they look now 'cause at such a young age just
And
because of Instagram.
It is a big problem.
Yeah, because you're forever being judged.
Instagram only posts things which are quite perfect, and then so the whole world.
No, but I'm saying in general,
The
when
young-
these girls and these boys in school nowadays, anything they post online is instantly judged by their friends and their peers at school. And then people can take that the wrong way if it's a negative comment. And being such a young mind, some people do take that the wrong way. You don't know how they're going to react. Which is why I'm happy I'm not in school now, because you just don't know how you will react as a person, especially when you're that young and you're so immature. And when you're younger, you hardly talk to your parents about these things. Well, not every kid.
I definitely think you become more aware of mental health issues and issues with your friends and your family, that some people look okay, they're not always okay, and I think that's definitely a lesson that I've learnt along the way.
Yeah, it's a scary place. Social media is a big black hole, and I think certain age groups will possibly be restricted from going on social media.
But that's
'Cause they don't know
there's
how to
loads
use it
of
properly,
easy
they don't know how to
ways.
handle it
Yeah, there's
properly.
loads of loopholes to get on anyway.
My experiences, I've been quite lucky to have good friendship groups from when I was in school to now, so
Okay, so
I
for
can't really
me,
say I've had a bad experience as such.
no, but for me, I've surrounded myself with some toxic people, and only now, as I've gotten older, I've realised that they were toxic.
Like I said, I've been quite fortunate with who I've grown up with and who's been my circles.
I think as you get older, you become more aware of
Like,
who
I'm
you
still friends
surround
with people who I
yourself
went to
with.
school with and my other close friends I went to work with.
Are you more aware of who you surround yourself with?
Yes, I know who I want my friends to be,
But if
and I
you-
know who I wouldn't want to be friends with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can agree to that.
Because I think surrounding yourself with, it's definitely a big lesson, is you learn from those toxic people that you surround yourself with, and next time round you notice
Well,
behaviours.
you hope it's not too late. Like, obviously you said you surround yourself with toxic people, you obviously got yourself
Yeah,
out of that
but
situation.
you now, like, if I came across someone like that who was just negative and just toxic or controlling or whatever negative way, just a nasty person to be around and just likes to bring your life kind of downwards, you notice that as you got older, but when you're younger you may not notice that as much. I don't know if you can really comment, because like you said, you haven't really...
No, I've been quite fortunate with my circles, I'd say. I've not really had any real bad experiences.
No.
That I've seen. Obviously,
I
you see
think-
things when you're out and about, and you wouldn't want to hang around with those.
No, but I
type
just
of
feel like
crowds or
if
people.
you do surround yourself with those people, it's so time consuming and it's draining and just such a negative impact on your life that whatever negative people you have in your life, just get rid of them.
No, I agree, but like I said,
Definitely.
sometimes it's too late for certain people and certain crowds that they've got so sucked in.
I wouldn't ever say it's too late, but it's very difficult to get out of it.
Yeah, because some people think there's no
But if you
alternative.
surrounded yourself with a negative person now, would you recognise it?
I'd like to think so.
But when you were younger, like I was in that position and I didn't really realise it until I was a bit older. I thought, why would I even surround myself with someone like that?
Yeah, you're probably better off to recognise, obviously, because you've been in that experience. You've surrounded yourself with bad people or people who weren't good for you. And I've gone this way of my life, and just shows the difference between each other.
I feel like we've put 2 negative points on the table here. So I'm going to say a good one. Like, as you get older, I think you discover yourself a lot more because you try out different things and you kind of find yourself as a person.
Well, yeah, that's something I was reading the other day, that certain people, I guess both genders, sometimes, I forgot what the survey was about, but generally most people don't find the path they want to go with their life nowadays until they're 30. Because people are forever changing and swapping jobs.
I know, but what if
kind of
you're
figure out
one
what
of
they
those
wanna do.
people that don't try anything, you just kind of stick at the same thing even though you don't enjoy it?
Some people are just too comfortable. Sometimes it's too late. Sometimes people change late in their career and think, why didn't I do this earlier?
I think that's an important factor, though. You do really need to try out loads of different things because it is a big, wide world out there. And if you just kind of stick yourself into one thing, then the world becomes very small. And that's why you just kind of stay in the same position. And you never get to find out who you really are and what you enjoy as a person.
Yeah, I agree.
If you don't try out all these things.
Some people get comfortable because they're earning a certain wage and are happy with that
No,
wage.
but I'm not just even talking about jobs. I'm talking about everything in general. Like, we've been on so many walks. Do you enjoy walks more than you would have ever thought when you were probably younger?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Like,
I think lockdown helped with, obviously,
I don't know.
a lot of people, not just us, a lot of people have found that walking can be...
It's therapeutic.
Yeah.
What's the things that you enjoy now that you didn't enjoy when you were like...
I didn't realise how adventurous I was in terms of obviously going outdoors and seeing like certain places that we've been.
Yeah, but what from you've told me, you enjoyed going out a lot and like going on boys' holidays, and you were kind of that kind of person, that a laddie kind of guy, as you say.
I think every boy...
Because you didn't have a girlfriend.
Yeah, I think everyone likes that balance of obviously spending time with their girlfriend.
But I'm saying when you were younger, like, did you even think about having a girlfriend? Like, how your mindset changes.
No, obviously your mindset does change when you have a girlfriend because you have certain responsibilities and you've got...
When you were 18 or so, did you ever think about getting a girlfriend, or was it just very... Do you see you going on holiday and just that?
Well, yeah, when you're 18, you actually feel... You're free, aren't you? You can kind of do what you want and... Well, it depends. Everyone's different. When you find that right person, I guess you don't really care. If there's still that balance, why can't you do things with your friends and still have that great relationship?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all.
Even though you have a relationship, doesn't mean you can stop doing what you want to do. I think that's wrong. And obviously, me and you are on the same page in terms of do what you want to do.
Just to put it out there, I wasn't talking about us.
Yeah.
I was just saying in general, from when you were younger to now, like how your mindset's changed.
Yeah, of course, I think most people do, but a lot of people do change depending on their relationships, on their stance, their kids.
One thing that I would mention, that when I was younger, I always wanted to be in the big city and all the hustle and bustle.
And now you are.
And now I'm completely the opposite. It's actually unbelievable. I appreciate eating good, healthy food and being in my own company, being in quiet spaces, like going out for walking. I don't like clubbing. I thought I would love it and go out every weekend.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. Like, I'd rather be at a bar than a club.
Okay, city or green?
Green. Pool or beach?
Neither.
Coke or lemonade?
Coke? Is that even a question?
Pina colada or margarita?
Do you know what's really funny? That literally just came into my head. I was literally going to say that.
Go on. Which one?
Well, I like a passion fruit margarita.
Pina colada. For me.
Pina colada. And going on from that, happiness over money.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's mindset nowadays is they want to.
I think there's
be
like
that big Simon. Earns X, Y, and Z money.
I think there's like two distinct people, like complete happiness or just going for money. I think it's
about finding that middle ground where you can afford to pay that your mortgage or your rent, but also having that spare money where you can go out, have a good time, go on your holidays.
I think it's important to actually write down what kind of life you're going for, because if you don't, I feel like you're just aiming towards something, and if you get there, you might not be happy still. You know, I think everybody has different types of happiness. Like some people, if they buy a Louis Vuitton bag, it makes them happy. And that's okay. I think it's just finding out what makes you happy. I don't think if we had lots and lots of, very financially stable, we won't completely be happy.
It's just having that balance, like you said, to afford your mortgage. And then also having that money there where you can just go on holiday as and when you want. You don't have to save for 3 years to just go on one holiday.
That's your happiness though. But for someone else's, it might be completely different. But I think it's definitely finding out what's going to make you happy. That's very important.
Yeah, I agree. But it's fine. Like you said, you've got some people fall into their dream job straight away. Some people got to do 2, 3, 4 jobs before they find...
Everybody's different.
Yeah, everyone's different. It's very rare that you just walk into your dream job, unless you know from when you leave. Even when you leave school and you've got your mindset set, well, I want to do this. You try it out. You might have a bad experience. You might not get on with your manager. Your team might not be great.
Anything.
Then it just puts you off completely on what you're doing. Then you might think, I need to try something else. And then that might be your dream job that you fall into.
And also, is actually a good point going on from that is to I would definitely say focus on yourself, because I think a lot of people look at their friends or their peers or whoever they know and compare their lives to how they're doing.
Yeah, you can't stop things like that, because then you're always comparing this
but then
friend's
you're going
done
to be
this, and this.
constantly unhappy because you think you've got to be at their level. You know, like everybody's on a different journey and a different roadmap.
Yeah, that's
Everybody
actually
is.
everyone's journey is different. Everyone goes down
Yes.
different directions. Things happen to people at different stages in their life.
If everyone is exactly the same, life would be very boring. And don't compare yourself to others, and that's a big thing. Just focus on you. I think one, which isn't a big thing, but I appreciate the older generation a lot more now.
Why is that?
Because you think that we know a lot, and they're like 4 times as old as us.
But they've experienced different things, and their way of growing up is completely different to the way that people grow
So
up
you
nowadays.
think, wow, these people have... like my nana, for example, she's 90 years old, and she's gone through World War II, and all these things which we will never experience. And all the knowledge that she must have, even though we think we know a lot right now, getting to that point, once that generation is gone, the World War II generation, you will never hear about it.
No.
Like first
We'll
hand.
just be talking about COVID.
That's our World War II.
When you're your nan's age, you'll be talking about COVID
COVID.
to your grandkids. I think not just us, I think loads of people just refer back to what COVID was like. In 10 years' time, people will be like, do you remember COVID? Do you remember how hard it
I'm
was?
like, no, because it was just a blur.
Yeah. Now, it has been hard for so many people, and like some people just couldn't leave the house, some people had no gardens, some people were stuck in flats. It has been difficult for a lot of people.
How hard it would be. Like some people who had, like you were quite lucky because you had asthma, you weren't housebound. But a lot of people with worse disabilities were. And imagine if they were stuck in a flat for a whole year with no garden, no friends, nothing.
No family, yeah, no, it's been tough for certain. It's been tough for a lot of people.
End this video on a positive note because I feel like we've gone pretty deep with all these comments.
End this convo on a positive
What
note.
have you learnt since let's just say...
I've got one for you. What have you learned? What positives can you take from being in COVID? Because loads of people could take loads. Like some people have saved more money than they ever thought they could have in the year.
I think it's brought a lot of opportunities which would never have come across, like time. Nobody could have had all this time off if they were in a normal job, in a normal situation. We're looking at positives here. Of course, COVID brought so much tragedy and death and sadness, and it's really hard. Like, I don't know, we've limited family time, haven't we? I've seen my nephew once since he was born, which was almost a year ago. But for opportunities, I would say time and giving people time to do things which they wouldn't have been able to do. Like so many people have opened their own businesses or done good things for other people, like charity runs. Like how many people have done charity runs?
It's given people a lot of opportunity to re-educate themselves, obviously do all the DIY they need doing around the house.
DIY, yeah, that's true.
But then there's been a flip side, people divorces, people's deaths, families breaking
I know.
up. It's such a hard one. Obviously depression, suicide
Hey, we
rate
were
went up.
trying to make this a good note.
But to end on a good note, there has been some benefits of COVID in terms of, people saving.
I don't know why we were talking about what we've learnt since we were like 18, like until now, and you're talking about COVID.
I know.
Well,
I think that's what
we've gone off topic.
everyone's conversation always goes on to
No,
COVID.
you were just like going
nowadays.
silent. I was like, where are you going with this conversation? You can't think of one thing, that one life lesson you have learnt so far. I think it's quite hard to think of it when you think about it.
I think the one for me is that.
What about family?
No, I'd just say nothing's a given in life.
What does that mean?
In terms of everything that you want, you've got to work for it. Nothing's given to you on a plate.
Did you not know that when you were younger?
No, just in general. Obviously, like when we were saying, when you're 18, you think...
You look at life a different way. You feel like you're in a bubble and invincible, don't you?
Yeah, and then as you get older, every year you become older, every year you realise...
Do you also feel like, ever since you were 18, times have just like...
flown.
Go, so fast. Ever since 18, like, I remember at school, I was like 14 or 15, I remember wishing and praying to be 18 and like do things. And
Yeah, I was the same.
Were you? But the time was so slow. And then my parents or guardians used to always say to me, don't ever wish your time away. Did they say the same to you?
Yeah, 100%.
Don't ever wish your time away.
I wish I could get the last 2 years back.
No, but I don't ever want to be a teenager again. Like, I did not like that time in my life.
No, but then sometimes you wish you could be 18 again. Just
I don't.
To do things
Because
differently.
every year we learn new things and we grow as a person. I don't think going back, I wouldn't have known the things I do know now.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you just got to take advantage of all your pros and
But
negatives.
everyone's growing and getting older at the same rate, so you're not exactly getting left behind and just like the only one getting old.
Yeah, true.
That's why you've got to appreciate...
Time just goes so fast, doesn't it?
You do, but that's why I think also when you do get older, you have to appreciate every moment, because once that moment's gone, you're not getting it back. And that's like
It's only when it's gone that's when you realise.
Exactly.
It's sad, really, but
no, it is.
was.
But that's why I've also noticed that you've really got to cherish every happy moment, and like that's why I like taking photos with you and videos. So when you can look back, 'cause it's quite impossible to know or remember every
what
single
tomorrow
memory.
brings, yeah, you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, so it's good to have memories.
I know, like life's very short, and just sort of cherish every moment of it. And I think that is the last takeaway from this video. Others will be sitting here drinking our green teas forever.
And to that, I'll drink the chat.
Cheers. Cheers to life.
Cheers to life.
Love you guys.